morning. Happy Monday. I'm not my dad or Hillary. My parents and Hillary will be at camp this week. So I'm going to take over. I'm going to make sure I have sound because that's always my greatest fear with doing these. Let's see. Um, I do have sound. Yay. Good morning, Jenny. So I will be taking over Java and Jesus this week, this morning, Wednesday and Friday. So I haven't done Java and Jesus like solo in a while, so it'll be fun. Good morning, Susie. Trying to see. Good morning, Jose. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a morning person, so this is a struggle for me, but we're gonna get through it. So last week we did youth camp, and this week is children's camp. So camps are in full swing for FBC Cloudcroft. Last week the camp was at Civils, which is like 30 minutes from Cloudcroft, but this week it's at Inlow. Children's camp is at Inlow, and that is like 4 hours from Clowncroft, so that's fun for them. So last week, like I said, we had a youth camp, and that was so much fun. It was just good to get away and unplug for a little short time. But yeah, we had. I'm trying to think. My dad and I went as sponsors, and we had seven kids. Did you have your coffee yet? I'm drinking my coffee right now and it's not helping. So I might have to get another cup after this. But yeah, so we had seven go to youth camp and that was so much fun. The thing I love about youth camp is that you do things a little differently. And so I don't know, it's just more, I don't know, it's more grown up and you do more fun things at youth camp, in my opinion. And so one night, the second night, we had a sponsor hunt. So that was really fun. It was like a big game of hide and seek, and you would go around. You would get all the kids in like the gym area, and then the sponsors would go and hide at like at night in the dark around Syphils. So that was really fun. I got caught very, very quick into that, but my dad, he hid like behind a bunch of lawnmowers, and he was harder to find. But this one guy got like climbed up in a tree and was hiding in a tree, so that was fun to watch him get down. So yeah, so it was fun. The camp pastor was really good. He was really fun too. I'm so glad I went as a sponsor. It was, in case you missed it, in case you haven't heard, so much fun. But yeah, so some of the things that we talked about at youth camp. So the theme was essential, and and it was just talking about how I kind of did different themes each night. So, or one day it was the things essential for Jesus. So, like worship is essential. Like us worshiping God, Jesus is essential. His status wasn't essential. What was another one? I meant to bring my notes, but I did not bring them. So that was really fun. The thing I like about it is middle school and high schoolers get split up, and so it really the Bible studies are on their level, whereas like middle schoolers maybe it's not as deep as it is for high schoolers. So that was really cool. I was with the middle schoolers, so that was fun for me. What else? The camp pastor talked about um, the difference between happiness and joy. So before like I tell you what he said about happiness and joy, the difference, I kind of want to see your guys' opinion. So in the comments, comment, what do you think the difference is between happiness and joy? While I drink more coffee to be more awake. The difference between happiness and joy. a lot of kids before he talked about it, they thought happiness and joy were the same thing. You love middle schoolers. I love middle schoolers too. They're super fun. Um, yeah, I was in a so we kind of break them up into cluster groups, and you have like the different color for different cluster groups. And I was in the baby blue. I was one of the sponsors for the baby blue cluster group, and that was a bunch of middle schoolers. And actually, they were really fun. They were really fun. Some of them were shy at the beginning, and then at the end of camp, you couldn't get them to be quiet. So that was a cool kind of thing to do. So, what do you think is the difference between happiness and joy? So for me, I I knew that there was a difference, and I knew that joy was more permanent than happiness. It's more temporary and superficial, and joy is deeper, yes, and lasts longer, yes. And that's why I kind of had like a general idea about the difference between happiness and joy. But what was cool was the camp pastor really dove in to that subject because he actually, I don't know, I feel like for high schoolers and middle schoolers, they think that they think that if I just get this, I'll be happy. But but it just feeds into this whole thing where they want the next best thing. And the camp counselor used the example of iPhones because, when you get an iPhone, you're like, yes, I'll be happy because I have this. And then the next iPhone comes out and you're like, okay, I want this. You just keep wanting and wanting. And so he had us write down some things that make us happy. So like family, friends, that kind of stuff. What else? Cool phones, just stuff that will make us happy. And he had us write it on one column, and then the other column was joy, and then he had us just put Jesus in the joy column. And I think it really helped the high school and middle schoolers really understand the difference between happiness and joy because a lot of them didn't think that there was a difference. And kind of the point he was making is that Jesus is essential, and he's joy, and so that kind of goes into that. And yeah, so joy is deeper and long and lasts longer. And I feel like for me, it was this way in high school and in middle school too. Like I don't know, you think that these things will make the things that make you happy will. What am I trying to say? So like the new iPhone, you think it'll give you joy, but it only brings you temporary happiness. So yeah, so that was cool. It just the things said at youth camp really made me look at it different in a way. And even though I was just there as a sponsor, I wasn't there as a participant. I learned a bunch of things, and I'm sure it's true for the other sponsors too. So I'm really glad I went last week. Another thing he talked about was having like a Christ-like attitude, and I can't remember all of them, but one of them is to be gentle. And I feel like a lot of us aren't gentle. I'm certainly not gentle, and I don't know. That really opened my eyes to think how I react to certain things, where the first reaction is not gentle at all. So I don't know. There's a lot of conviction this past week, but it was good conviction. Another one is not complaining, which that is difficult for me because I complain a lot, and I think a lot of us do. And that goes back to the whole Christ-like attitude. So yeah, what was really cool was the last night, Thursday night, we had this awesome time of prayer and worship. And what they did was in the gym area, they made circles for each church group, and they had us sit in circles, and we did worship, but then also we just sat around and prayed with each other, and they kind of prompted us on what we should pray about. So it was kind of like a fill in the blank. So Sam Swan, the guy who puts on the camps, he came up there and he said, God help our youth group to be, and then we would fill in the blanks and pray. So that was really cool. It's cool to see what God's doing in the hearts of our youth. And so that was really cool to see that night. It was just really cool. And then some of the others were, God help our youth group to not be, and then we would fill in the blanks too. So it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. So yeah. So that's what happened last week at youth camp. And then on Saturday, so we got back Friday afternoon. What is the sponsor? So it's just a sponsor. It's an adult, 21 and up, and that's just to be there with the kids. I think there's like a certain ratio, like per, I don't know, like so many kids can be with a sponsor. So my dad was a sponsor for the guys, and I was a sponsor for the girls. And that's just having an adult there. The sponsors lead the cluster groups, so that's the Bible study groups and the discussion groups. I don't know how many churches participated. I know we had about 200 campers last week, and this week it's going to be more. It's like 250. But a lot of churches participate in this, which is really good. I know we had churches in our camp from Las Cruces. I can't think of. It's been a long week. I can't think of any others, but there was more. There was really more. Lovington. I think Deming came last week. So it's from all around the state, which is funny because we have friends in Lovington who came. And they were like, oh man, we have like a 2.5 hour drive back. And we're like, oh man, we have like a 30-minute, drive back. And so that was funny. What's cool about just camp in general is you make friendships that last a lifetime. So I remember like the first time I went to youth camp, and it was the same, it's called Lives Ablaze Camp, or like student ministry camp. And it's the same camp. I'm just a sponsor this year. Last time I was a participant. But my first time going, my dad and I met this really cool family from Lovington. And we've been friends ever since, we've stayed in contact. So that's one of those friendships that I think we will have for a lifetime. That's just cool to see God do that at camp. So yeah. But yeah, I was going to say something else, but I forgot. So yeah, it was crazy busy. So we got back Friday afternoon, and then Saturday, my mom and I went to Inlow to get help get ready for children's camp. Then we came back Saturday night. And so my parents left yesterday afternoon to finish getting ready, and then at 8:30, so in about 15 minutes, our group from Cloudcroft will go. What's up, Dad? And so just be in prayer for kids camp this week. I know a lot of them are exhausted, but just pray that God will give the sponsors all the energy this week. So yeah, but it'll be good. I see God move a lot in camp, whether it's youth camp, children's camp. I see God work in their hearts over camp, and so yeah. So I'm gonna go get some more coffee, but thank you guys for hopping on. Dad, I hope you and Mom have a great week, and we definitely will be praying for you guys. So yeah, thanks Jose and Jenny and Susie and everybody else for jumping on. I will see you guys Wednesday. Yeah, we're gonna have fun this week. It'll be fun. So I'll go ahead and close us in a word of prayer. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for an awesome week at youth camp last week, God. I pray that as children's camp starts this week, that you just move in the hearts of these kids, God. And I pray for the sponsors too, that you just give them the stamina and the energy to make it through the week, God. I pray all of this in your name. Amen. Alrighty, I will see you guys Wednesday.